Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA DFS content, prize picks content. All these videos that get posted on this subreddit, I'll have a link down below. You can ask me questions leading up to lock about the slate, pretty much anything you need. Like I said, it'll be linked down below. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right here. All right. Before we get into my lineups, just gonna show you guys what happened tonight. Just absolutely insane stuff. Nice double up there. Nice there, but then we start getting into the good stuff. $50 into $5,000, just wild. First off, that was me. What? Under $100 into $4,000, just absolutely wild. That's me. Third place there, first place here, 3x there. Close to a 10x there, or over a 10x. Close to, I don't know what the math is there, but really good. 26 into $700. Cash there on Showdown. Good night there. Over a 10x there. $1,000 here. Absolutely wild. Just what transpired tonight. Just absolutely wild stuff. I will go over my lineups now. If you're looking for more in-depth content, all that good stuff, I'll have my Discord link down below. And, let's start with FanDuel. FanDuel was solid. Unfortunately, PJ Washington was chalk on FanDuel. We'll get into how we won so much money on Draftkings tonight in a second. I mean, it's PJ Washington. That's basically it. But FanDuel, it was solid. Let's get into my Draftkings lineups. This was a small contest I decided to enter. My core today was SGA, PJ Washington, Jalen Williams, and was the fifth. PJ Washington, SGA, Jalen Williams, Daniel Gafford was my core. So the core just absolutely shattered. PJ Washington, 15% owned in most contests. Just absolute shatter. I had the core in every single lineup. J-Dub, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, SGA. Played some other stuff with that. My single entry, same thing. SGA, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Jalen Williams. And then another value I was really high on today at low ownership was Karis LeVert. He smashed. He was in my single entry. It was a really solid night overall. Hopefully you guys had a good night as well. Got to some PJ Washington. And I mentioned in the video yesterday about if Al Horford's chalk, you could just play PJ Washington. That's what we did. It worked out massively. All right, so let's go over the Knicks. Probably my favorite team to target. It's not close. I mean, they're going to be without OG Anunoby. They're already without Mitchell Robinson. I mean, this is going to be insane. You're going to see the main guys just play a ton. You're going to see a ton of Miles McBride off the bench as well. Preston Achiuwa I expect to start. He's going to play a ton. Could they enter like an Alec Burks into the rotation? I think it's definitely possible. Also, could we see some Jericho Sims backup five? I think that's also possible, but I think, Precious... I think they're just going to play the entire game, pretty much, is what's going to happen. It's like, with that being said, I mean, the Knicks are the best team to target. It's not close. I love all the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, I love. Josh Hart, I love. Dante DiVincenzo, I love. Isaiah Hartenstein, I love. Miles McBride, really good value. Preston Achiuwa, best play on the slate, in my opinion. Absolutely love him. If you want to see if, Alec Burks gets inserted in the rotation in the large field GPPs, I guess you could take a shot on that. I don't think I'd take a gamble on Jericho Sims, but, I do think there is a chance Alec Burks could be inserted into this rotation. They just run a 7-man rotation with Alec Burks, but this Knicks team just looks absolutely phenomenal. I love them all. Like I said, Brunson, Hart, Dante, Isaiah Hartenstein, Miles McBride, Preston Achiuwa, some of the best plays in the slate. Absolutely love them. Brunson, the best spend up on the slate. Josh Hart, he's been phenomenal. He's already going to play 48 minutes. I guess he doesn't change too much, but could have a bit more usage with no OG as well. Stat sheet suffer. He looks great. Dante DiVincenzo, his minutes, he's going to have to play a ton. Could shoot the ball a bunch. Has an insane ceiling. Really like him. Hartenstein, probably going to play every minute. He looks phenomenal. Preston Achiuwa looks phenomenal. Miles McBride, going to have to play big minutes. He looks like a good value. And then we did talk about Burks. This Knicks team looks phenomenal. All right, let's go over the Pacers. So for the rotation last game with the Pacers, you just saw T.J. McConnell get his normal 20, Obi Toppin 20 off the bench. You did see Isaiah Jackson still in the rotation without Mitchell Robinson. And then you saw a bit of Ben Shepherd, and then the main guys just played a ton. All right, so with that being said, I don't think Nembhard really fits in this series. Like, he's definitely my least favorite of the Pacers. Like, if I had to say a least favorite, it would be Andrew Nembhard at 5.1K. I'd much rather just play Aaron Nesmith. This guy has just caused me incredible amounts of pain. I've lost so much money playing Aaron Nesmith. I think he's a fine play at 5K. I do like all the Knicks over him, but he's going to play a ton of minutes. He's fine. No real strong takes there. Halliburton, I mentioned him as a really good showdown play. Last night, he absolutely nuked it. That's his ceiling. He looked good. Gonna stuff the stat sheet. Now, 8.3K does seem a bit too cheap for him. I'd much rather just play Brunson, but I think Halliburton's a good contrarian play. Now, if everyone's going to play Halliburton and no one's going to play Siakam, although I do think both will probably be a bit low owned, I think they look pretty similar to me, especially with no OG and Anunoby now on the other side. I'm pretty sure he was guarding Siakam, so the matchup does get a tiny bit better. It's not going to be a good matchup for any of these guys, but does help a little bit. So both the top two guys here for the Pacers do look good. Miles Turner, just awful game from him last game. He'll be really low owned because Isaiah Hartenstein is going to be the chalk of the absolute chalk. I don't mind taking darts on him in GPPs, but I much prefer Isaiah Hartenstein. He does have a ceiling when he's hitting his shots as well. He just shot the ball very poorly, but really bad matchup as well. Not going to get you a ton of rebounds, probably not going to get you a double-double. Really going to have to score a bunch of points, get you some rebounds, get you like a block or two to really reach his ceiling, which we have seen, right? He could go out there, he could play mid-30s minutes and absolutely crush the slate. So I don't mind him as a contrarian play, but more of a contrarian play for me. We went over Nembhard, we went over Nesmith. I mean, is Obi Toppin just the best player in the world? He's getting no backup 5 minutes right now. He's just absolutely crushing. I mean, I'm not going to say no if you want to play him. I'm really not. Now, the Knicks value, like Precious, I'd much rather play Precious, but yeah, Obi, definitely a solid value. Production, been really good. Should play around 20 minutes. If for some reason they do cut Isaiah Jackson out of the rotation and he does get that backup 5, comes even better. T.J. McConnell's a guy I've been fine with every single slate. I mean, the minutes are there. He's playing low 20s. We know he's an extremely good producer. I think he's a pretty good value once again, even at 4.8K. So I do like T.J. McConnell here once again. Ben Shepherd, fine dart if you need it. I'm not going to go to Isaiah Jackson. So that's the Pacers. Let's get on to Denver. So we'll take a look at the first game rotation for both teams because Gobert was out for the second game. And yeah, obviously it's a bad matchup. Going to be the case for most teams in the playoffs. Very good defensive teams are the ones that kind of get through the playoffs, right? We're going over Denver first. So the first game, you saw Jokic play 40. KCP played big minutes. He got a bit banged up in the second game. Jamal Murray, he doesn't look like himself, but still going to play big minutes. Aaron Gordon, big minutes. Michael Porter Jr. should play big minutes. We can actually pull up the second game because not much changed. Only really changed on the Minnesota side of things. So yeah, Jokic 40, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope 37, Jamal Murray. Did I just pull up the same game? I did. 1 second, guys. Here we go. All right, Aaron Gordon, yeah, it was a blowout. Aaron Gordon, 33. Jokic was on pace to play the entire game, basically. Jamal, same thing. Michael Porter Jr., same thing. Reggie Jackson in the rotation. KCP got a bit banged up. Saw a bit of Christian Braun. All right, with that being said, I think there's going to be value. So if you want to play Jokic, I think he's your overall, like, probably going to score the most points on the slate. They're down 0-2. It's desperation here. It's Nikola Jokic. I think he looks phenomenal. You're going to have plenty of value to fit him in. I think he looks great. Jamal Murray, I mean, he just is hobbled out there. Absolute treacherous matchup. Going to be really low owned because of it. We know the ceiling that he has, so I don't mind him as like a bounce back candidate, but really treacherous matchup. We know he's going to shoot the ball a ton. He does have a ceiling. I just think it's intriguing as an interesting buy low candidate, but yeah, he looks hobbled. They're doubling him. They're really going after him. So more of a contrarian play from him than MPJ, Aaron Gordon. They're both just fine filler plays. I think Aaron Gordon probably looks a little bit better given the price point. I think MPJ is getting to the price point to where he should be at 6.7K. Both clearly have a ceiling. I would say MPJ probably is the higher ceiling between the two when he's hitting his shots. And then KCP at 4.3K, I think is also a decent value. Going to be out there a ton, but also I've been taking these unders every slate because it's also like one of the worst possible matchups for KCP. So I think he's actually priced where he should be, even for the minutes that he's getting, but still a solid value. He's going to play a ton of minutes, right? I prefer McDaniels on the Timberwolves. over KCP. I'm not going to play Braun, not going to play these type guys. All right, so first game for Minnesota. Gobert, 35, got into some foul trouble, I believe. Mike Conley, 31. Cat, 30, got into foul trouble. McDaniels, big minutes. Naz Reid gained a little bit from foul trouble. NAW will get his normal around 20. So with that being said, I mean, Ant's an okay contrarian spend up. I think, you know, if I had to play, like, say we're building a lineup, and if I had to pick, like, 2 mid-range spend ups if I'm not playing Jokic, I think I want Ant and Brunson if I'm not playing Jokic. Like, if I'm playing Jokic, I'm just doing this with Brunson, but if you're playing 2 mid-range spend-ups and that's how you want to go about your builds, I think Ant is definitely your second best, right behind Brunson. Brunson is the best, and it's not really close. His usage right now is just absolutely wild. And then this price point, the price points on Cat and Gobert do seem a little bit too cheap. So I am pretty high on both the bigs here for Minnesota. Cat the higher ceiling, Rudy Gobert a bit safer. I think both are really solid options. And then the guy I've been really high on of late has been Mike Conley. I think in a close game, you're going to see mid-30s minutes. I know on the game on the 4th, I said that was a bit of an outlier. I thought he would play a lot more than that. He was on pace to play a lot more than that last game. Obviously, that was out without Gobert, but I would expect mid-30s minutes here. He's been stuffing the stat sheet, being a lot more aggressive as well. 5.6K, I think is a good price once again. I think it's a really good mid-range option that I don't think a ton of people are going to be on. And then I like McDaniels quite a bit for value. He'll probably be loaned with all the Knicks value. They're probably going to be chalk. T.D. McConnell's probably going to be chalk. Obi Toppin's probably going to get some ownership. McDaniels, I think, is a decent value as well. You know, probably going to get you some rebounds. It really comes down to if he hits some shots. Good defender. They need him out there for a ton of minutes. So I do like McDaniels. NAW's playable as well. I don't know if I get to Kyle Anderson at 3.8K though. So that's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. I hope you guys had a great night tonight, and I will talk to y'all in the next video.